Hi, lurkers and commentators. Welcome back to my channel. So, after 5 years of my life, I finally finished my first ever webtoon comic. How did it all start? When I was a kid, I had one dream. It was to make people kiss in comics. I really liked reading shoujo romance mangas when I was a kid because the build up to the kiss is the things I look forward to in life. Finally, in college, I got the art skills, I got practice, and I got the fundamentals right, and I was like, let's make a comic. And lo and behold, I finally decided to make Roommates. It ended up getting views. I think it was because the comic rolled off on a meme where it's like, let me show it to you.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
And I didn't know that meme existed until I posted my comic, and everyone in the comments had to remind me this meme exists. So how the story starts is basically there's these three people, Ben, Jenna, and Zach. So when I created the female lead, Jenna, in the story, what I had in mind was I want to represent a female lead well. I just didn't want to make Jenna an airhead that gets all the guys and stuff like that, you know. Then comes the male lead. Ben is the mysterious character. We don't know much about him when he's first introduced. We just know that he lives in the apartment. He plays music, he was in a band. This is what you discover later on. But yeah, he's kind of like the most introverted person in the group, I guess you could say, compared to like Zach and Jenna. I have an infatuation with guys that are very cool and mysterious. So Ben is probably my favorite character in the comic because trying to give him a backstory and an emotional depth was really challenging for me, but it was the kind of challenge I liked, to basically pick through this character. And he develops and grows a lot throughout the series. And you know, as a girl, trying to write a male character is a bit weird, but I feel like I did a good job. Finally, there's Zach. Zach is inspired by a friend who is also the gay best friend. Actually, I don't understand why the gay best friend term is so derogatory now. Maybe because it's how movies and series portray these gay best friends as usually like very shallow and like they don't have anything going on in their life and all they do is cater to the main protagonist. So I didn't want that for Zach. I wanted him to have a life and his own arc and his own struggles. The most complicated side character I had to work on was Rita. I guess she could also be the third wheel, but I didn't want her to just be the third wheel. She was so much more than that. Yeah, I wanted to make this character that has everything in her life, you know. She's rich, she's pretty, she's successful, but she doesn't have that one person that she likes. The side character I like the most is Nick. He originally had an arc that I was gonna work on, but it ended up getting cut from the main story because it was a bit sensitive and I didn't think I could handle it well. I will talk more about it on my Patreon exclusive audio, so feel free to go check it out. I thought it was also really funny that people really like the neighbors, Sputnik. I swear to God, I created this too. Their names came from, you know, Friends, and there was this Halloween episode where Ross came in as Sputnik. And I thought, hey, the character's name is Nick. Why not just name the other character Spud? Like, what the hell? And then I just did it. And people really, really liked it. I don't feel like I did the story dirty. I felt like everything ended the way I sort of wanted. It's not perfect, for sure. I originally had more to say for the story, but you know, it's just as time went on and as I grow older, I just feel like, well, I think I peaked. I think the story peaked. I think we should move on to ending it. Fast forward to like 2019. I was really unknown. My Instagram and Facebook is like, it's like there's no one there. And I found Amino, which is like a community app. That app helped my comic a lot as well. People were really supportive of me over there, and I haven't went back to that app ever since. If you're from Amino and you're watching my video and reading my comic, Jesus, thank you very much. But eventually it would peak at 1.8k on webtoon, and it would peak at like 1.7k on tapas. So like going in like into 2020 and whatnot, I'm gonna talk about the mistakes in my story writing. I wanted to showcase the lowest point of this specific character, and that's when the comic reached peak depression. Okay, I call it peak depression because there was just episodes following by episodes of how sad this character is. And I think people got a little bit fatigued by that. This makes people not want to read it because they're gonna associate now with the comic that, oh, it's gonna be sad, and I don't want some kind of like depressing episode to ruin my day, you know? Wait, I think it was between 2020 to 2021 where the viewership would drop. What you want to do with this is you want to try to add some buffer or fillers in between these depressing episodes. Of course, don't make it like an entire story differently like how Naruto does it. And yeah, basically the drop in views and whatnot kind of made me wanted to quit at some point because I felt like the effort I was putting into the comic, it wasn't well received. And that was also when I created Dear Alice. I think it was in 2021, just so I can compare. And Dear Alice turned out much better. But I think that is only because the comic is shorter and more social media friendly. Roommates had a big problem. It was very hard to promote the comic, being that it's like a long ass vertical comic and I can't just like cut it into squares like Dear Alice. Even though Roommates got like a lot of promotion on tapas as well, it never got any promotion on webtoon. Dear Alice, I think it got promoted once for new and noteworthy, but that's it. But it has been doing well. It's always steady and it steadily inclines. Finally, let's talk about how it ended. Okay, I started streaming on YouTube I think since last year. It was at the end of last year, around December, and I would do it 3 days a week. And all I would do was work on my comic, and I did this because I wanted to keep myself accountable, and I wanted streaming to make it something that I can motivate myself to finish it. And honestly, I'm really glad I did. It's the best decision I ever made because interacting with people on stream helped me get through the tedious part of working on the comic. And after a few months, I finally finished it. Until my file got corrupted. I don't know how to say this. It's like the worst luck ever. And I legit cried because I was so close and yet so far. I was like, I'm gonna quit. I'm not even gonna work on it. But of course, that didn't happen. I kept working on it on stream again, and you know, the people on stream knew what I was going through, and they were really supportive. Finally, it ended, and it was on a really good note. I thought it would be a lot more emotional moment, but at that point, I really lost all my emotions to my file getting corrupted, to tedious task of working on that final episode, and I was just glad it was done. And And then when I posted the comic, everyone was really supportive. Everyone who had been reading the comic all these years, the lurkers and whatnot, would come out and comment like, hey, I've been reading it since the beginning and stuff like that. And it was really, really surprising, because then you realize all these people who never comment and whatnot, they have been reading it. If you are currently struggling with a comic that you've been working on for a long time and you can't seem to finish it, could try streaming it. That worked for me. Or you could join like a webcomic community, and you can work alongside other people, who can help you talk about your ideas with, or you could share your work in progress. Like any other art careers, if you're not working in a company where there's like a lot of people with you, or if you're not working on a project with like a lot of people, it's very lonely. So I think having a community of people who works on webcomics as well is the best way to motivate yourself to finishing it. Anyway, what's installed in the future? What's next for me? What's new? So I'm still working on my ongoing comic, Dear Alice. That comic is posted every week, and I'm going to be streaming as usual on YouTube. You can catch me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, hopefully. And I've already done streams of like me painting and streams of me working on my portfolio website. Feel free to join if you would like. And I also have a Discord channel where we do art jams every week. If you are interested, you can DM me on Instagram and I'll send you the link to join. Everyone in there is really cool, and we all just show up on a certain day and time to just draw together, which is really fun. And I'm gonna keep making YouTube videos, of course. Also, I think I'm gonna be going into a concept art phase soon. Basically, I'm going to work on a new comic. Nothing has been confirmed, so I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. It's just a comic of witches and fantasy and school life. That's all I'm gonna give you all. And if you're interested in like the concept art and work in progress and whatnot, I have Patreon. Also, feel free to support me with coffee. Feel free to buy me a coffee. And now that my webcomic series is completed, please go give it a read. It could be just that people decided wherever the story was heading isn't what they're looking for anymore. And yeah, I think also because, again, the comic started out lighthearted and fun, and then it suddenly got too mature and serious. I think that also impacted the subscribers and whatnot.